The vaccine was known to come with side effects in a very small percentage of times, and that those side effects will be most noted within 3 months of taking the vaccine. And I'm looking here on the report, which CMO may not have mentioned, that there are no reports to date of any cases in Jamaica of persons, Jamaicans, suffering that side effect, that rare side effect involving the AstraZeneca. So we have clinically on record no report of. And those who would have taken would be highly unlikely, if not impossible, to have that side effect now, years after taking the vaccine, and we no longer are distributing the vaccine. So when AstraZeneca sent out the notification, it was a notification to discontinue production. And there seemed to have been some interpretation, or extreme interpretation, that it was a notification based on a recognition, maybe, that the vaccine somehow was going to, create an adverse reaction to people who have taken it, how many millions of persons who have taken it.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, oh, you're so liar. Look how much people lose them 3 pints from the vaccine. Look how much people, how much teacher, how much police officers, how much nurse, how much regular citizen of Jamaica, how much picnic just drop down, catch heart attack or something from this same job what them take. So how you don't come to us and tell us the lie that nobody not sick from the vaccine now? How you don't tell we that? We are idiot? You want to take Jamaican people for fool? You want to take Jamaican people for fool? Okay, so the line of teacher that lose them 3 pints over the past years, what do them? Let me ask you that.
I know this is really intense. You did not follow the signs, and therefore you missed the 7 year of prosperity. When the government of Jamaica told you prosperity, 4 years, it was true, but now that time of prosperity comes to an end September the 22nd, and the time of famine and hardship like this world has never known or seen before in the history of humankind. This is what's happening. When people start to see the dead bodies that are piling up, they're going to start to retaliate, and they have now, the lockdown is put in place, so you're locked into an area and you cannot leave that area.
The Jamaican.
What is that? Grade 3 student collapse, die at hospital, at school in Chilani, I should say, sudden death. Look at this. This woman suddenly died. So, this man suddenly died. Come on, let us count them out. This primary school teacher suddenly died. So tell me now, this teacher died suddenly. This teacher died suddenly as well. We're counting on, we're counting on, we're counting on. Christopher Tufton, we're counting on, we're counting on. People, me make sure me slow it down. See there, St. Jacob Moines, teacher is passing. See there, she'd suddenly die. See there now, we're counting on. This teacher died as well. Suddenly die. So, Mr. Tufton, what are you telling us, Mr. Tufton? There is more. There is more. Suddenly died. Or died suddenly. Anyway, they want to turn it. And we're coming with more again. Died suddenly. See it there now? JLP councillor. See it there now? Died suddenly. They are dying. People are dying. Christopher Tufton. Look at this. Another teacher died suddenly. 3rd in 1 week. 3 teachers dead in a 1 week. And this man I tell we say nobody no lose them 3 pints on the vaccine. See there now? This a young teacher here. Just lose him 3 pints because of the same thing. And you tell me that? Look again. There is more. Right there. More people suddenly. If you notice, suddenly they beside them name. Suddenly again. So what Christopher Tufton don't tell we say? What is it that Christopher Tufton don't tell we say? All of these people, they died suddenly. So Christopher Tufton, Do not try to trick the people of Jamaica because we are not idiot. We are not fool. Plus, these are a long time ago. These are a couple years out, like from back down. You understand? Come up. And since recently, the amount of people that died suddenly. And Christopher Tufton don't go on like he want to trick the people of Jamaica. But bless up to my viewers and my subscribers them. I hope everybody having a blessed and a wonderful evening. Now my viewers and my subscribers, remember, in everything you do, always put God first. In every and any situation, just always remember to call upon God. Always remember to pray. Because a prayer day keep the devil away. Now, my viewers and my subscribers, we have a lot coming up inside of this update, including Andrew Holness, Rush, Mark Golding, plus a lot more. We have a full press conference of people questioning Christopher Tufton. So there is so much inside of this update, people. So remember to leave a like on this video. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're a new viewer first time on my channel, then please subscribe to my channel and turn on the post notification bell. So whenever we drop new content, you will be first to be notified. Share the content with a friend, a family, a loved one. Share it on your social media platform. Now, people, make we run the intro and come back. We soon forward. So welcome back to my viewers and my subscribers them. Big up to all of my viewers, big up to all of my subscribers them. We continually support the channel and help the channel to grow. Now, remember to leave a like on this video. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're a new viewers, first time on my channel, then please subscribe to my channel and turn on the post notification bell. So whenever we drop new content, you will be first to be notified. Share the content with a friend, a family, a loved one. Share it on your social media platform. Now, my viewers and my subscribers, before we take on Christopher Tufton, Andrew Holness is a man like this that in life we play mind game on the people of Jamaica. Now, if Mark Golding said to you that him not interested for the Privy Council to be the final court of Jamaica, then why don't you change the Privy Council? If you can change the king, then might as well you change the Privy Council as well. Now, Mark Golding explained himself and he said that it is better for the Jamaican people who are wrongfully convicted because at the end of the day, them have a better chance to go to the Caribbean Court of Justice instead of Privy Council because, you know, look at Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel, and he got accused of a fine at least £650, £100 figure Privy Council. That's how much millions in Jamaica that the government will have to pay back to Vybz Kartel because them win the Privy Council. You understand me? I say? So if Mark Golding said to Andrew Holness said, listen, we are not interested in signing off this thing with you keeping the Privy Council as our final court destination, then why can't you change it? So, I am here to tell you why Andrew Holness will not change it. Andrew Holness is a part of the Privy Council board. Yeah, man, I'm a part of the Privy Council board. So, if him shouldn't change it, then maybe he wouldn't get kicked off of the board. Me know say most people must hear by now say Andrew Holness is a part of Privy Council. I'm a part of the board of Privy Council because, you know, he's a leader for the Caribbean, something like the CARICOM. Yeah, CARICOM. So he's a part of the Privy Council board. But let me hear what Andrew Holness had to say. Then we play what Mark Golding had to say. And then we go over to Christopher Tufton. You understand, people? So this video is very interesting. So like up the video, people.
My initial assessment of the response of the opposition is that I am disappointed, but I am not surprised. I am not surprised that they would have tried to find every way out of seeing this process through to its rightful conclusion. I would like to say to the Jamaican people that the efforts that the government has made is not in vain, that we will continue to pursue consensus, because the truth is that you cannot disturb the constitutional and governance architecture of the country without consensus. That is the reality. And consensus takes time, and it takes effort. So I speak to you today as Prime Minister of the country, not as leader of a political party seeking power, but as someone who is genuinely interested in the advance of our country. And so I want to assure Jamaicans that the process continues. We are in a certain season described by others as silly. I tend to sometimes agree. But we will get over it, and Jamaica will evolve into its rightful form, constitutionally, governance, in terms of our economic independence, and socially. The journey continues.
Mr. Holness, you have to be disappointed, you know, because you realize Mark Golding is not a walkover. And when Mark Golding hold out for something, it is not a talkover. So you cannot walk up on Mark Golding and trick Mark Golding and make you feel like I say, yes, the Mark Golding has stand up for the Jamaican people. And anybody way say Mark Golding a troublemaker, no style like that, because at the end of the day, if you figure Privy Council, remember, you know, you have a Court of Appeal, you know. And when you have a Court of Appeal, then you have Privy Council. But if you don't have the money, sorry about that. If you don't have the money to pass the Court of Appeal, how are you going to go to the Privy Council? Because if you get turned down at the Court of Appeal, you know, because remember, say the Court of Appeal is a part of the Jamaican justice system, you know. So if you don't get a fair trial in the Jamaican justice system and you don't get a fair trial in the Court of Appeal, then where else will you turn? Because you can't find the money. You have to rich. You have to have money. If you go a Privy Council. So what Mark Golding is trying to say to the people of Jamaica is that if you can't find, if you go appeal court and you miss out on the appeal court, then you have the right to apply to the Caribbean Court of Justice, which will be the final court. So it will be more easier for you to go get justice over there so than the Privy Council, because if you have a lot of money to go up to England at the Privy Council. That is what Mark Golding is trying to explain to the Jamaican people. So people, don't be distracted by what Andrew Holness is trying to say, or his supporters are the member of his party are trying to say, because they are trying to distract us and trying to discredit Mark Golding, because Mark Golding are standing up for the people of Jamaica. I have never seen anyone come and stand up for Jamaican people like Mr. Mark Golding stand up for the Jamaican people. Him not take no foolishness, him not deal with no bangarang. And anything with Andrew Holness do, him have to come clean with it, because Mark Golding serious say he must stand up for the people of Jamaica. So make we hear what Mark Golding had to say, and then we come back and speak some more.
Mark Golding gives clarity to the Constitutional Reform Committee and position of the opposition.
Clearly stated from the get-go that the CCJ matter would not be dealt with upfront, and you still signed on to the Reform Committee by appointing 3 members, including Mr. Hilton and Mrs. Donna Scott.
Well, first of all, I didn't appoint 3 members. I appointed 2 members. I also suggested to the government that the committee needed strengthening, because I wasn't happy with the configuration of it. And I suggested that they consider Hugh Small, King's Counsel, to strengthen the committee. And they accepted that, and they appointed Hugh Small to the committee. That is how Hugh became a member of the committee. Yes, I am aware of the minister's position that there was not consensus around how to deal with the CCJ. We could have said at that point we weren't going to move forward at all. However, we decided that the constitutional reform process is important, and we believe that there was room for further dialogue and achieving consensus around this issue. As I've said, when we've spoken to both in the Vale Royal talks and with the Prime Minister most recently 3 weeks ago, the position put to us is not that, oh no, we're not going to agree with that. It's that, you know, we're considering, we need to talk, we need to think some more about it. And we've said, fine, let us know your position and then we'll know what to do. And that's where it's at. That's where it's at now.
And another question regarding the matter of the CRC committee. This whole issue of whether Jamaica signs on to the CCJ or not, considering the importance of transitioning from a British monarchical rule to a republic, is it worth the essential destruction of the entire process to require a red line be the CCJ and final appellate court?
Absolutely necessary. We're not in favor of a phased approach to decolonization. We're not in favor of having 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the King's Yard. We must either be in or out. Can't be neither fish nor fowl. Time come to deal with this matter once and for all. That's our position.
And if the matter is not dealt with once and for all, are you comfortable with it being pushed on another decade, 20 years?
Generations are going to have to live with this. Jamaican people should have access to justice now to their final court. It's been denied them from slavery to now. Very few cases go to the Privy Council from Jamaica each year. A small fraction of appeals that are adjudicated by the Court of Appeal here end up at the Privy Council for the benefit of the learning of the final court. It's an untenable situation, and now they're trying to impose a rule that would allow them to vet whether something which is covered by our Constitution and gives somebody an appeal as of right can in fact have that appeal heard. They want to vet that by one judge looking through and 3 judges deciding whether to proceed with the appeal before it is allowed to actually be heard by the 5-man panel or 5-person panel, which is what the Privy Council normally sits in. So the situation is not tenable to us, and we need to fix it now. And we've given the government, and we've been trying to get them on board for many years with this, and decades with it. We acceded to the Charter of Rights on the basis that this would be addressed at the time. They haven't fulfilled on that side of the bargain. And this is a time when I'm prepared to wait. I want generations to come to have a good constitution. I want generations to come to have access to their final court. Shanique Myrie got justice because of her access to the CCJ. She wasn't a rich person. She couldn't afford to take a case to London, but she got justice. The court came here and heard her case, and Barbados had to pay her damages for having wrongfully excluded her from Barbados. And that is a kind of benefit I want the Jamaican people to have, not just on treaty issues around CARICOM access, but on all issues to do with constitutional rights, commercial disputes, and criminal appeals. Time come for that.
And then finally from me, how would you answer charges that, considering the political climate and the closeness of a general election, that this, what many would consider obstinacy, is just a political ploy?
The timing is not determined by us. The timing is being pushed by the minister for her own purposes. If she wants to go into a referendum process in the run to a general election, she'll have to answer to her own party as to why that is, especially when they're behind in the polls. For us, this is a fundamental issue of governance affecting future generations on an issue which we think is fundamental to who we are as Jamaicans and where we have come, how far we have reached as a people, as a proud people, the people of Marcus Garvey, the people who Bob Marley sung for, and that took it to the world. Time comes for us to believe in ourselves and in the institutions that we helped to build and to design optimally so that they can serve the people of the region and to serve the people of Jamaica in particular. So this is not about, I don't see this as deriving any political benefit for me or us. I don't see where that is in this. This is about principle. And we will stand by principle because the future generations of Jamaica will never forgive us if we don't. Thank you.
So for all I want to stand up and get up and say, Mark Golding a white man and Mark Golding a fight against the Jamaican people. No, Mark Golding a stand up for no. He must stand up for no. Because the Labour government don't want to know if you have a final court. Because the Privy Council cannot help the poor people. The Caribbean Court of Justice will definitely help the poor people. So why don't you stick with the Caribbean Court of Justice that can at least help the people of Jamaica when they are in trouble or say they are convicted wrongfully, I should say. When they are convicted wrongfully, they can at least go to the Caribbean Court of Justice. But Andrew Holness does not want that. He wants when they're stuck in a prison because they're vexing them. They vex the Vibes Cartel go to prison and get the chance to go Privy Council. They feel like I said they went out done out him money, and that's why they pull out and haul out the case so long for him for done him money. But at the end of the day, when they look, they say the man money can't done. Him reach Privy Council and Privy Council kick out the case because every little look at the case a corruption. Everything tampered with, so them kick away. Them say Galambaka Jamaican with that. And then them tell the Jamaican people, Jamaican government say, give back the money while I money when you spend already. Give him back the whole of money when you spend. Let me give one in a patwa. Yeah, man. Them say give back the man the whole of the money when you spend already. So, if him never have money if he go Privy Council, would we, the Jamaican people, know say everything in that case is tampered with? No, we wouldn't know. But that is how we Jamaicans say. We don't see the good. We don't go see the bad. We don't see the good. We only see the bad. Not all Jamaican, but some of us. We're the one them that are very colored blind. We don't see the good. We only see the bad. Uno no see Mark Golden a try to do good for uno. Uno no see Mark Golden a try to do the best for uno the Jamaican people. Remember, you know, most of the things that change, you know, a Mark Golden change, you know. Me remember one time when you get yourself in a problem, you know, you have to wait 20 years, you know, before your police record clean up back again and you can travel, you know. Now you go wait 4 years. 4 years alone. Who do that? Mark Golden do it for you. And Mark Golden do it when he was the Minister of Justice. So this man always a look out for uno, the Jamaican people. But make we hear what Christopher Tufton had to say, people.
Minister, what is the ministry's position on the AstraZeneca vaccine? Is it still being administered?
Right. So we anticipated that question. And as a result, I'm going to ask the CMO to take the mic and to give her clinical response. I can give a policy response after. CMO. Oh.
Hi, morning everyone. Specifically to answer your question, no, we're not administering the AstraZeneca vaccine anymore, simply because it has not been on the market. Okay, and just generally to address the concerns that have been in the public space for a few days. AstraZeneca had released their vaccine from late 2020, and Jamaica started using the vaccine in March 2021. The vaccine had gone through various studies and had proven to be highly effective vaccine, specifically in terms of reducing serious illnesses as well as reducing death. And so the vaccine was widely used early in the response to COVID, and over 3 billion doses were produced worldwide and were provided to persons. It is estimated that over 6 million lives were saved because of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Now, all medications do have side effects, and very early in the clinical studies that were done, the serious side effects, the rare side effect of blood clots was not discovered at that time. But certainly in the process of any new drug being released on the market does not only stop at clinical studies. After the medication is being used, then you have post-market surveillance that continues to assess if there are any effects from the vaccine. And from as early as in the second quarter of 2021, we would have been alerted to the possibility of side effects, including clots associated with AstraZeneca. I remember at the time we had several interviews about it as we sought to reassure the public on the use of the vaccine. This complication is extremely rare, occurring in about 2 per 100,000 persons, where there is an association of the formation of clots. And within that group of persons that can have this effect, then of course you will have a small percentage of persons that will have serious outcomes. And these, side effects are common with all medications. But in response to that, you would have found that there was some decline in the use of AstraZeneca. However, at the time, we always have to weigh the benefits against the risk. And AstraZeneca was a main tool in what we had to respond to COVID at the time. And so the benefits far outweighed the risk, that were there of these extremely rare events, and so the vaccine had continued to be marketed. But as the other vaccines became more available, the RNA vaccines, the Pfizer vaccine, Moderna, then of course in many countries you had a decline in the use of AstraZeneca. And also in continuing the manufacture of vaccines, you would have found that the other vaccine manufacturers had developed new vaccines against the new variants that were coming on. And AstraZeneca did not. It's simply a matter that the technology that was used for the production of AstraZeneca does not lend itself to so much manipulation, which is the viral vector technology. But the other vaccines would have, the other manufacturers would have moved ahead with producing new vaccines. And of course, as those became more available, there was even further decline in the use of AstraZeneca. And so therefore, the production, the manufacture and supply of AstraZeneca decreased, and it had stopped being produced. The UK Vaxzevria, they stopped producing that in 2022, and the Covishield was stopped being produced by Serum Institute of India in December 2022 as well. So, sorry, 2021. Okay, the vaccines, they had stopped producing them. So there was demand, the demand had decreased substantially, and so it is understandable that the manufacturer would start withdrawing the licenses that exist. So in Jamaica, we continue to vaccinate against COVID, following the WHO guidance in terms of boosters that are available. And since July 2022, that is when our last dose of AstraZeneca, the set that we had expired, we have not been offering AstraZeneca anymore. The side effects I note that persons are concerned about tend to happen between 3 days to 3 months. So some persons are wondering, if I had received AstraZeneca then in 2021 and early 2022, am I still going to have this possibility of these side effects? And the answer is no. The likelihood of developing those side effects, 3 days to 3 months. Okay, so I know that's something that persons are worried about. And as I said, the ministry still continues to collect information on persons who think they may have suffered side effects, and we investigate them to see if they are in fact related to the vaccine.
So can I summarize, because I think the clinical perspective requires clarity sometimes on what is most concerning to people. So essentially, and this is not to devalue the concerns that may be there, all medication comes with side effects, including vaccines. You only need to watch those commercials on American TV when they introduce drugs, and then they start to talk fast and tell you all the side effects that are there, right? 100 different side effects. We only use vaccines in Jamaica as a policy that was subjected to very stringent validation. In fact, there were debates at times that we should embrace vaccines, whether from other jurisdictions, some of them friendly jurisdictions, Cuba, for example, even China initially, that were not approved by the WHO's validation committee, and we never did. So I heard you talk about Cuba and why we didn't take Cuban vaccines. We are very friendly with the Cubans, of course. We benefited a lot from their personnel, which we appreciate, but we never embraced the vaccines because they were not approved at that level. And the same for other jurisdictions. So we were comfortable with the risk that would normally be applied based on that validation. And so that vaccine was available. Remember the context, vaccines were short, and we embraced. As CMO said, the vaccine was known to come with side effects in a very small percentage of times, and that those side effects will be most noted within 3 months of taking the vaccine. And I'm looking here on the report, which CMO may not have mentioned, that there are no reports to date of any cases in Jamaica of persons, Jamaicans, suffering that side effect that rare side effect involving the AstraZeneca. So we have clinically on record no report of. And those who would have taken would be highly unlikely, if not impossible, to have that side effect now, years after taking the vaccine, and we no longer are distributing the vaccine. So I think that's clear. I believe too that when AstraZeneca sent out the notification, it was a notification to discontinue production. And there seemed to have been some interpretation or extreme interpretation that it was a notification based on a recognition, maybe, that the vaccine somehow was going to, create an adverse reaction to people who have taken it, the how many millions of persons who have taken it. And I think it has been, the dialogue around it in the country, and unfortunately some have sort of exaggerated it. We do have an environment now where the anti-vax movement is big, an environment where the political climate is somewhat toxic, and so sometimes we got interpretations around this that created an extreme view. And I think it's unfortunate, because it's not our intention to make the public panic around these issues. But I believe we'll continue to monitor it, and the CMO will be the lead spokesperson on that, because it is a major clinical matter. Thank you.
Thank you.